The lecture hall of the Intergalactic Academy buzzed with voices from a dozen different species. Floating holograms displayed ancient stellar charts, and the walls pulsed with a calming blue hue, meant to keep students from species with high anxiety levels comfortable. This was a place of peace, knowledge, and unity. That peace, however, had been shattered ever since the first human had joined the academy. Jared Carter, the lone Terran in the class, leaned back in his seat, an amused smirk tugging at his lips. He had just finished explaining the concept of winter to a group of his alien classmates, and their reactions were priceless. "Wait, let me understand this correctly," spluttered Vorlak, a reptilian centauri whose species thrived in humid swamps. "You're saying that on your planet, entire regions freeze solid for months?" "Yep," Jared replied, casually taking a sip of his nutrient pack. "Sometimes temperatures drop so low that if you go outside unprotected, you die within minutes." A murmur spread through the lecture hall. A soft-bodied Osvari student, whose species lived on a planet permanently covered in tropical warmth, shuddered. "And your species evolved there," Jared grinned. "Born and raised." Professor Delarin, an aged Phylaxian with fur-covered tendrils on his head, observed Jared with great interest. "Humans truly do originate from a Category 12 Deathworld," he murmured. "Fascinating." Jared wasn't done yet. He leaned forward. "That's just winter. We also have hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, and volcanoes." Several students recoiled in horror. How do you even survive?" gasped Kirvin, a feathery eviction whose species avoided planetary risks by constructing floating sky cities. Jared shrugged. "We adapt. Build stronger shelters. Wear protective clothing. Innovate." He looked around, eyes twinkling. "Did you know my planet has an entire region where the ground randomly opens up and swallows whatever is on it? We call them sinkholes." Silence, then pure disbelief. The insectoid chick-turn clicked his mandibles rapidly. "And yet, you thrive." "Thrive?" Jared laughed. "We turned our Deathworld into a playground. We build homes near active volcanoes for the geothermal energy. We chase storms for research. Some people even climb frozen mountains just for fun." Professor Delarin cleared his throat. "I believe this discussion holds value for our class. Jared, perhaps you could enlighten us about some of your planet's more formidable creatures?" Jared's grin widened. "Oh, you guys are gonna love this." He stood up and walked to the center of the room, the lecture hall adjusting its lighting to highlight him. With a flick of his wrist, he accessed the Academy's holo display and pulled up an image of a polar bear. "This," he said, "is a polar bear. It's a hypercarnivorous predator that can smell its prey from miles away. It swims through freezing waters, stalks across ice sheets, and can take down prey 3 times its size." Shocked gasps rippled through the class. "And that's not even the scariest thing," Jared continued. "We also have crocodiles, ancient creatures that have barely changed in millions of years. They wait motionless in water for hours, then explode into action to drag prey under. And let's not forget sharks, wolves, or big cats like lions and tigers." I think I need to sit down," murmured Vorlak. Chick-turn's antennae twitched wildly. "And yet, your species dominates." Jared nodded. "Yeah, because we're the scariest thing on Earth." A heavy silence followed. Then Professor Delarin let out a breath. "I must say, Jared, your species is remarkable. To come from such a hostile environment and not just survive but conquer it. It's no wonder your people are new to the galactic community. You had to master your own Deathworld first." Jared chuckled. That's one way to put it. He looked around at his classmates, who now viewed him with a mixture of awe and terror. "But hey, don't worry, we're pretty friendly, most of the time." A single nervous laugh echoed from Kirvin. The rest of the class remained silent, now very aware that the most dangerous being in the room was the human. The class ended, but the conversation did not. Several students gathered around Jared, now both curious and terrified. Kirvin hesitantly spoke up. "You mentioned storms, but what about your oceans? Surely they are safer?" Jared laughed. "Safer? Not even close. Our oceans have some of the most dangerous creatures you can imagine. Have you ever heard of a box jellyfish? almost invisible in the water, but one sting can stop your heart in minutes. Sharon twitched, and yet you still swim in these waters. Of course, Jared grinned. We love the ocean. Surfing, diving, fishing, it's all fun. Vorlak hesitated, and space. How did your people reach the stars from such a world? Jared's expression turned thoughtful. It wasn't easy, but humans don't like limits. We see something dangerous, and we find a way to overcome it. Space was just another challenge. Professor Delarin nodded slowly. You do not fear the universe, Jared Carter. I suspect the universe should fear you.